Yes, sir.
Sheriff, within that, I know you spoke about it at the beginning. The jail's not shut down, it's just not in operation at the moment.
Yes,
With
sir.
that being said, what are we looking at, because you did state, we approved that Lubbock County, transferred inmates to be ran through our jail.
Yes, sir.
And then right after that, y'all had to shut down for, liability issues towards the county. Now, within that, what are we looking at on timeline of our jail actually be up and going, and overall ceiling, what all's gotta be done financially to get us there? Cause that's the big question right now, with what we had to, and I know from the public that keeps, with what we keep pumping in and everything, everybody from the public keeps coming to me, well, how much are y'all gonna keep pumping into this? Where are we going? What's the end?
Yes, sir.
What's the end game on finances on it to be able to make it operate?
At this point, right now, all I need is personnel, and we are hiring. I hire someone today, it's gonna take them 90 to 120 days to actually become licensed to where they can work. Meaning, you can work dispatch by yourself through the night, you can work on the detention floor by yourself. I do have new employees coming in, it just takes so long to get them licensed. Now, as soon as I get enough personnel to safely open that jail, I can have 20 inmates the next day that Lubbock County is paying us twice the amount that we're paying Scurry County. Having said that, also, why I keep talking about like this van and stuff that we're gonna come up to, when I get these inmates back, when I get these employees hired and I get everybody in the right spots, these inmates are gonna provide each of you commissioners another tool. You call me, I can bring labor and we can get a lot more stuff done and return a lot more tangible stuff to the community, if you will. Instead of saying, we saved this much money, that looks great, we can go, hey, look, we cleared up this road, this many thousands of pounds of trash, and so on and so forth. To answer your question, I'm sorry, I haven't yet. I'm a little leery to say we're gonna open by January 1 because I just can't promise that. I am actively and aggressively as possible trying to recruit, retrain, and hire. And of course, I'd ask everybody in the court and the building to help me do that and help brand this law enforcement center as an honorable place to come and work and help me find some employees. We've got some great new hires that have just went through HR. Phenomenal. I actually have a new girl I want to tell you about her. I call her the anomaly. She's 18 years old and she's got more confidence than most 40-year-olds I've met. She's doing outstanding, already starting to do things on her own. Sorry, not to go off on a tangent, but I just want to brag about the employees a
Can
little
I
bit.
ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How many do you need in the jail to make it run? Like,
So-
how many, you got 9, right?
No, I don't have 9 right now. I need a total of 3 people. Can I borrow the chalkboard there for a minute, Judge?
Sure.
So, the best thing to understand about this law enforcement center, and I don't even know if I need to draw this up here, is that, I've got a building. And inside that building is a dispatch center. And I've got one dispatcher right here that can't leave. She's in like an aquarium. So anybody that wants to, I encourage you, come over to the jail and look. Now, this individual, let's say this is Leanne, my dispatcher. I've got to have a detention officer out here that's got to stay with the inmates. She can never leave this post. So, I know Gina was talking about the working lunch and stuff like that. I want to give you a totally another perspective. When I bring you on as a dispatcher and put you in the jail, you can't leave that aquarium for 12 hours. You walk outside that door, I've lost complete and total control of my jail. So, this person cannot leave, and this person cannot leave. Now, out here's jail cells, right? And there's one detention officer out here, and there's one dispatcher here. This detention officer gets into a fight with one of these inmates, this dispatcher can't leave and help. You're getting your butt kicked until someone comes and helps you. How do we solve that? That's a serious issue that we were dealing with just a couple months ago, and I said, nope, we're gonna depopulate the jail until I get some personnel to help. I need a third person. I need one person that can essentially be a runner or give this person a break or help this detention officer fighting an inmate, or simply booking someone in, or delivering breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything, right? Now, by having a minimum of 3 people in the building, that's, if you look at it with me, that's the bare minimum to operate safely, right?
Not just 12 hours, so you
That
need
is
6.
12 hours. Right now, everybody's on a 12-hour schedule, right? So if you go, hey, I could run that jail with 4 people. And this 207K thing that all the law enforcement officers are on is a little weird. I'm still struggling to figure out the benefit of it, but all of my law enforcement officers, they work 43 hours a week before they start getting overtime. They work 86 hours before they start getting overtime on their pay period, right? So, I'm sorry. What was your comment, sir?
So you got 6 for 24 hours. 6
I'm
people.
sorry. Everybody's on a 12-hour schedule. So, pardon my math here. If we go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 days a week, right? I need 2 people to work Sunday. 1 morning shift, 1 evening shift. Morning and evening, morning and evening, morning and evening, right? Now, that individual comes in and they work 3 days this week, 4 days next week. So they work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 12, 24, 36 hours. Next week, they're going to come in and work 4 days. That's 48 hours. So it adds up to 80, right? So if I bring employee A in on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, can't do anything with them until the next week. They're maxed out. So I need another employee to cover these 4 days right here, right? So what I'm telling you is that with 4 people, you could have a dispatcher. Well, that's it. That's all we've got right now because the jail's depopulated, right? Anytime we arrest somebody, I've got to bring someone else in or another person in and so on and so forth.
So
But-
what's the number of how many people have to be in the jail for you to operate? That's what I'm asking. You got 9 in there or you got 10?
There is... There's a total of 9 right now.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, I know I explain all this to you, and I say, okay, 4 people working 12s, yep, that'll work. Okay, what if that person wants vacation? What if that person gets sick? Well, that happens to us right now. I've got both my jail sergeant and my dispatch sergeant, they're on schedule. And when somebody wants a day off, time off, take their dog to the vet, my jail administrator gets on watch. So, everybody's, I'm just that short right now. So, how do we get, I mean, the real question is, how do we get people off of 12-hour shifts? That's insane. Well, the only way you get them off 12-hour shifts is to put, let's go to 8s, right? So if you do 5 8s, in order to operate that, you need 21 people total. If we were to put them on 8-hour shifts, 24/7, right? And you have 3 spots, that's 24 people. I'm sorry, that's 21 personnel, hoping no one gets sick or ever takes vacation.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not gonna do that, so we're gonna go back to the 12s, right? Can we do 4 10s? Well, then now you're overlapping because 10 doesn't divide into 24 equally. I've done the math on this a lot, and I want you guys to see the conundrum that we have over there and why I decided to depopulate because of what I call the aquarium, you know?
So by jail standards, what do they require? They require 2 or 3 all the time by
They
jail
require
commission.
2. So when you appointed me the sheriff, everybody was working like this. There was 1 dispatcher and 1 jailer, right? Some personnel decided to leave. We got too short. I had to depopulate. Jail standards, that meets the requirement. It doesn't meet my common sense sniff test, and I'll tell you why. Let's say Dexter's son is working over there at the jail, right? Well, your son just got beat up by a whole bunch of inmates. Unfortunately, my dispatcher watched it. It's all on video. It's all recorded and everything. There's nothing I can do about it. He got beat up. He got seriously injured. Sorry. And you're going, oh, you need to control that jail. I need more people.
Well, during the day, couldn't your jail administrator step in for that reason?
He can, every now and then, and they do. I call him in on Sundays. He worked this week.
He would be there anyway during the week, right? What is his hours? Does he work? Is he working jailer dispatcher or just?
No, he's so that's an actual administrative position. It's Monday through Friday, like yours, like ours, like any one of these.
So he just works the 8-hour days, or is he working 12?
No, he's 8-hour days. And he actually,
But
I
he
say
has,
he, but that
he has
position-
filled in for you though, and done a couple of the 12-hour shifts when somebody's called in sick.
yeah, I
And
put him
those
on a
both
12-hour
have.
shift because I have no one
Guys, we're
else.
getting way off subject. This is not on the agenda.
Oh, sorry.
What I need is what the court wants to do on item 16.
So like on the SB 22, how much would your jailers be raised in the pay if that came?
That is not on the agenda either. Let's go back to item number 16.
Yes, sir.
On item 16, and this was relevant to the actual question at hand. The reason I was asking on like timeline and expense going into the jail and everything, we're looking at, could be a substantial amount of time before the jail was to come back into play, correct? Depending on employees coming in, and where I was asking on what else has to be done to the jail financially to actually make it acceptable for people to come in. Is it any other items, or is it just?
The only other item that's gonna be a requirement is our next agenda item, and that's getting the walk-in refrigerator fixed. Only
Okay.
because I gotta keep the food cold, but that and personnel.
So, but with
There
the
is
personnel
no,
right now, it could be a while to have the personnel, what you said it takes on training and stuff on the personnel.
it's gonna be, it's not gonna be a long time. I'm gonna open as fast as we can. I don't wanna give you a significant, like January, February, as soon as I can.
Okay, well, where I was going with that on this is right now, you're talking about these Motorola's and stuff like that, were not just for the deputies, but they were also for the jail.
Yes.
So right
because-
now, honestly, to me, if it's gonna be a while before we're opening up the jail, let's not sink the money into putting Motorola's in the jailer's hands right now, if they're only gonna use it when jailers are out picking stuff up. Could we have a breakdown to where what this would go into, just putting it in the deputy's hands for when they're reacting to calls and stuff like that?
Well, there's 12 radios, there's 6 of them that'll be assigned out to officers. The others will be in the shop as spares. These detention officers, when they use them, they'll grab them and use them out in town, or if we have an incident, we grab extra spares and give them to guys.
We could just go with 6 for the time being.
Well, we can, absolutely, unless you guys are interested in, jumping onto this same contract and replacing your radios. I was asking for 12 to cover everything in the law enforcement center.
I have no radios.
No, I don't need one either.
We did, if you notice in that bid, instead of doing, we did 6 bank chargers and stuff like that, so we can minimize, here's what I don't wanna do, I don't wanna buy a bunch of radios and then they just sit on a shelf charging for the next 3 years, and then the battery's bad, I'm back up here in a few years asking for more radios. I know how to utilize this equipment and store it correctly, I'm not asking for anything excessive. I would ask if, you know, I don't know what your guys' communication situation is, but I believe these are a suitable substitute that we can all go to eventually.
And Becky, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but on this, then the ARPA funds, it's gotta be the exact amount and not over that amount if we're designated for a certain deal, correct?
Yes, we don't have an amount to turn in.
So what it'd be on this is, I would be more, for me personally, I don't know about the others, but I would like to see 6 for now, but we need that amount on what it would be on that to actually procure it from the ARPA funds.
So you need a
So-
quote for 6, and I'll make a motion to table.
And I'll second that motion, but the 6 to get you deputies and y'all with handheld, but let's table the other
That
side.
was for 12?
This is for
This-
12 radios total.
If you're gonna go for 6?
You gotta give her bid.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why he made a motion to table it for 6.
See if he can, if you're out working a wreck or something, things like that.
Yeah, it's very important for the deputies to have it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Table.
So we'll table till next month and rediscuss 6, right?
Yes,
Okay.
bids for 6, but when you do the amount, like the amount was over what the, estimate was on here, on the ARPA funds, it's gotta be the exact amount.
Right, so okay, I understand.
Item 17, discussion approve ARPA funds for repair walk-in refrigerator. Sheriff Wade.
All right, so the walk-in refrigerator went bad. I called the company to come out. They did an estimate, the company that works on it. If we do the 5-year warranty included, That's a total of $12,259. So the walk-in reefer, you guys have seen a walk-in refrigerator, I'm sure you've seen the one over there. It's been in use for 8 years, and it just wore out. Unfortunate. Now, normally I'd come and normally I'd just get a bid and we'd pay for this out of my maintenance repair budget of $20,000. That's gone. Why is that gone? When I took over, when you appointed me as the sheriff, we had $17,000 in electrical repairs that had to be done and $14,000 in plumbing repairs that had to be done. So working with the auditor, we were able to take some money left over from last year, and then my entire facility maintenance budget this year to get this place running, or to get it to where it needs to be. That's unfortunate, but I am confident we're at a position now. I know you guys have been here for years and you've seen the disgusting amount of money that's been put into that building. I've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm confident that I can maintain this for the next year. I don't foresee any major mechanical issues coming up. We've done a significant amount of work on that building in just the last 4 months.
We've done that in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes, but didn't one of them say, evaporator for a certain price, and the other one said evaporator and condenser for like another $600-800 if you add a condenser? Why did they break it down like that?
Well, I asked them to do that because I said, look, so you walk into that refrigerator, you got the big inside unit and then you've got the outside unit. And I said, okay, what's broke? Well, the inside unit's broke, okay. What does it cost to fix that? How much is that? And the guy said, look, I'll give you that breakdown, but you replace that, you're probably gonna embarrass yourself in a year or so when you come back and the outside's gone. I said, okay, well, break it down for me. I think probably the best thing is that we replace the inside and the outside unit with a warranty, but obviously that's your decision.
Did you price a new one?
This is new.
No, I mean,
No,
a whole
a
new,
new,
a new unit, whole thing.
No, sir.
I
I
mean,
know that, I understand the freezer was fixed last year before me at some point, if you guys remember
Is
that?
it together with the ice box?
No, it's, you
Separate
walk
system?
into, a big walk-in refrigerator room, and then at the back of that room, there's another walk-in for the freezer.
I'm just curious what a new one would cost instead of spending $12,000 on a used one. How much is a new one?
Well, I don't think there's any difference. The new one, and what I mean by that is, when you say new, really the only thing to replace in there is the inside and outside units. Their walls and everything, that's all part of the building.
Yeah, that big old box, it costs a fortune, if I had my guess, replace the whole
They're
thing.
about 40,000, 45, I looked.
So replacing the outside unit and the inside coil is pretty much like putting a new one in.
I think it is, as I understand it,
The rest
and
of
what
just-
I've
Just
reviewed.
insulated box, yeah.
Yes, sir.
most of them are brought in pieces and put together
Yeah.
whenever you do one. It's actually the lines and your hardware, your evaporator and condenser make up the actual unit pretty much.
I know you guys are getting tired of hearing about repairs, however, this one may be, it has been in use for 8 years and it has probably reached its end of its lifespan.
And this is
That's
one of
really
the
bad
two,
timing.
this is one of the 2 factors in getting that thing operational again.
Yes, sir. In order for me to get inmates, I've gotta be able to store food. Now, the freezer works fine right now, so the refrigerator broke at a convenient and an inconvenient time.
Is that the only bid we have is from that one company?
Yes, sir, they're the only ones that'll come out here and even deal with us. I did talk to, another company, my jail administrator, and they wanna charge like $700 trip charge just to come out here and talk to us. I'm sure you guys have seen that, it's ridiculous.
I will say, in the sheriff's defense, I'm well aware of cold and refrigeration, that's pretty much in line.
But that's the only way we get the warranty for the 5 years, is get the condenser and evaporator. They won't warranty it with just evaporator, is what you're saying?
No,
They wanna
sir.
redo, like you had
The
to,
whole
I
system?
know this from going to school for heating and air conditioning, you gotta, it's like
Gotta
a
have
warranty on
400.
anything else. If you replace one part, they're not gonna give you
Yeah.
a long-term warranty, you
Not
gotta
give it
replace
to
the
you
system.
anyway, $420.
But I'll make the motion, let's approve it. You gotta have it.
Five
Thank you,
warranty?
sir.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Well, if we can get that money Preston was talking about on your, that can be used and you don't need it tomorrow.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, this, I'm sorry, you're talking about SB
The
22?
SB 22, we could still get that.
Yes, sir. If we still have the opportunity to get SB 22, that is I'll say it again, that's a game changer for the law
You
enforcement.
can
center.
use that money for that too.
If we can get it.
But I mean,
Yes, sir.
but you still got a few months before, I mean, it ain't gonna take them long to fix what's there.
Well, they might,
How long's the bid good
I
for
would-
on this, is the next question.
Well,
30 days.
I'll tell you this, I would request that we get this fixed as soon as possible because the freezer in the back of this unit, when the guy was out there, is also getting too hot because of the way that was built. When the refrigerator's down, the freezer in the back is gonna be working harder. So sitting on this problem may not be the best solution, is what I'm saying. I don't think that's the best option to wait on the refrigerator.
Is there anything in the freezer?
There is. I have a lot of stuff in the freezer, actually. I didn't get rid of any of that, so. The only stuff that we got rid of in the refrigerator was just the perishable lettuce and stuff like that. And I believe a couple commissioners' courts ago, I told you we gave that to the senior center.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, have a motion and a second, all in favor of buying the refrigerator?
With the ARPA funds.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 18, discuss and approve ARPA funds to purchase mid-sized van to be utilized for inmate transport and administrative official use only, not to exceed $40,000. Sheriff Wade.
So, ma'am, I didn't provide you an exact number on this van. I put not to exceed 40,000. So I'm asking for an inmate van to transport people. I'm not asking for the largest van they have, and it's not gonna be the fanciest. What I attached to this was basically the base model is 35.6. I'm looking for a small van that I can transport inmates with. We're constantly transporting them now between here and Scurry County. I told you we picked up a guy in Dallas. We're constantly going back and forth. Now, to help me get some of my law enforcement officers off the road, I'll start sending detention officers to get weapons qualified and transport qualified. They can start using that van, non-emergency vehicle, to transport inmates. Now, that van will also be used to take inmates out to help pick up trash. For a good example, out in Commissioner Evans' district this morning. Driving in on 180, down here where there's the passing lane on that hill. There was a bunch of trash all over the road. I'm gonna give you that as another example. I drive that road every day. I come in and say, hey, you know what? Grab a couple inmates and go out there and clean it up. Take pictures of it and show it to the residents. This van, it'll save a little bit, it'll save on fuel, it'll help my logistical problem of transporting inmates, personnel and stuff a lot easier.
Question within the van, I know this is just a bid on the van itself, right?
Yes, sir.
What all's gotta be done to the van afterwards? What additional money are we talking, and would that be coming out of your budget, or is that gonna be something you're asking for? Because if it is, we need to have a new estimate done that includes all the funding and the total price of it for ARCA.
So I've got other areas, this van is not gonna take $20,000 worth of communications equipment and all that other nonsense in there. It will have a radio installed. I have money in my budget for that. It will have some markings on it, Fisher County and stuff.
Is it supposed to have caging to block off from driver and passenger versus rear passengers or for transport?
There'll be a single cage in it behind the driver and the passenger seat they're roughly $1,800, is what I'm looking at. So I didn't present those numbers to the court because I can handle that out of my budget.
And to clarify, so everybody understands, right, this is not just for hauling when the jail's up and going. This is for now, as
This is
far
for
as
now,
hauling
yes, sir.
all inmates, transporting back and forth whenever y'all arrest somebody, or y'all have to go pick up on a
Yes, sir.
warrant or something out of county. Because if we have a warrant posted, if they're picked up out of county, we have to go pick them up and bring them to our
We
county.
do, yes. So like Dallas, we had to pick that gentleman up, bring him here, book him in, take him to Scurry County. When he's done down there, we've gotta go and pick him up, bring him up here and book him out. So the whole depopulated jail, like I said, it only means they're not sleeping here. It actually means we're running back and forth a lot more. Now, there's 4 deputies. There's myself, Sergeant Pullman, Jared Smith, and Dakota Whitfield, right? So there's 4 of us. We just had a transport last week that required, well, what I'm trying to do is not take deputies off the road to transport to Scurry County. If I've got a detention officer that is weapons or transport qualified, I can utilize them to take inmates to Scurry County back and forth while I leave the deputies here. That's the intent of that. So this van is to be utilized now and for many additional things down the road.
What about the trucks that are sitting there that are, the batteries are going dead because nobody's driving those?
Well, there's none sitting there now. Those are both in the shop. So I have 6 trucks total. There's 4 of them that are being used and 2 of them that are in the shop getting repaired right now from pigs and deer at a repair shop in Snyder. Yes, ma'am. So right now I have nothing, no spares. Actually, if something happens, I give them my truck and then I just drive my personal vehicle. So that's really the only solution I have right now.
Do you have that one that was in the Sally Port getting worked on too, that had the dash and everything off of it, or?
So that truck that's sitting in there, I plan on taking that truck, and I've talked to Lawrence Hall, Ford is the only dealership I've talked to. I'm gonna have one of their salesmen come and look at this, sir, and if they can give me $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 for that truck to simply just get it off of our rolls and take it, and I'll utilize that for the purchase, right back into the purchase of this van, awesome. My initial thought on that truck was to put it together and give it to one of the commissioners, but honestly, I don't think you want that thing. It's seen its better days.
Is that the one that's got the new transmission in it, or is it?
It's the one Alan was driving, the old one.
Yeah, I guess it's an older Ford. It's sitting in. I guess it's been sitting in that Sally Ford for about 2 years now.
It's a shitty.
Or maybe it is a Chevy. I'm sorry.
Pleasure of the court, item 18.
You're talking about turning that around with the dealership into the van?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna take that money and put it right back into it.
So
And
we need to wait on the ARPA funds for it till we know if that's gonna be allowed to be used on that or not, to know the true amount of ARPA funds that we'd be putting forth on it, if that's what you're planning on doing.
yes, sir.
It'd have to be tabled for now if you're planning on doing that, because we'd have to know the amount going into this to have a true amount to request anything on ARPA, so we would have to table this.
Yes, sir. If we table it, with your permission, what I'll do is I'll contact the dealership, I'll get some actual numbers and contracts written up, not signed, and I'll present them at the next court, so you can
We'd
see.
have to have true numbers, because
Yes, sir.
right now we'd be,
I think
false
you
numbers.
hardly anything for that pickup. So
Yes, sir, if they-
I'd be interested in that, just for
Yeah.
the miles and stuff on it, be interested in looking at them, but.
Yeah, if you're not gonna get a couple thousand, one of us could put it to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dexter sort of can piddle with vehicles a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And like I talked to Tanner on it, way back there, I told him, hey, put a dang battery disconnect switch on it. Get through driving, flip a switch, no fire, no wind, but might chase it down.
Yes, yes,
We
sir.
had better luck Ford wise, like on the Meals on Wheels van. The Ford House at Snyder beat everybody we looked at last time. I
Okay.
mean,
But we probably need to tell him now if you're wanting to keep that truck, Dexter, before he goes trying to get numbers on trading it in, we need to tell him now. Is that what you wanna do?
I'll
Yes,
go
sir.
look at it,
Yes, sir.
see what, is that the only one, older one you wanna get rid of?
That's the only one that, yes, sir.
Okay.
but as far as what's on hand on the agenda, I say we table it till we get all the information in hand to make a proper decision, so we have a proper price in front of us.
Yes, sir.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn. anybody want to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.